Wow, so this is the area we're gonna have to kind of sort through. It is thick. I don't know how many plants I have here. I'd say at least 50. So we'll see what we can salvage. That area behind it needs to get cleaned up. All of the Gara growth from last year, that needs to be cleaned up so we can expose the fresh new growth underneath, right? We got some beautiful bulbs right here, some beautiful dafts. What's up, garden friends? AJ here. So today I have two main tasks that I have to accomplish. I've got a rogue patch of foxglove, not sure what the variety is or the cultivar or whatever, but they need to be either potted up or transplanted in other parts of the garden. And secondly, I have an old America climbing rose that didn't make it over this past winter. And so what I'm gonna do is transplant a Wollerton Old Hall David Austin rose and not exactly put it in its place, because you're not really supposed to do that with roses, but I'm gonna put it off to maybe 2 to 3 feet off to the side of where the old America rose is. And that will take place in the old herb garden. I've since changed that into a lavender slash dianthus slash rose garden, okay? And we're gonna button that up. I have a huge shipment of brown mulch that's coming tomorrow. And so I can't wait for it to get here because I've got to button up several tasks of mulching, okay? So yeah, let's go. All right, garden friends, so this is where I have the Wollerton Old Hall climbing rose. It's a David Austin rose. It has beautiful creamy, pale cream, buttery type blooms, okay? And it has a pretty good scent as well. So I had it in this bed with all my roll dolls. So to deal with this bed, it happens to be underneath two Nellie Stevens holly trees, and they're not a good mix. It's not a good match. So what ends up happening is the acidity level of the soil is so high because of all of the leaves that have fallen from these Nellie Stevens holly trees, that the soil is it's unbearable. And what I end up having to do is use lime to kind of help sweeten, or to help move the soil to a more of an alkaline level versus an acidic level, because the roses, I've noticed, they started to suffer. The first flush of leaves and flowers are fine, but the stress over the summer with the decaying leaves releasing all of this acidity into the soil, it's not a good mix. So I've since moved 3 of the roll doll roses to the front carport bed I showed you guys in the last video, and I'm slowly and surely gonna find other homes for the rest of the roll doll roses. So one thing that's bothering me, before I go ahead and take these foxglove seedlings out, I'm gonna do a quick cleanup of that bed directly behind it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this bed that has spent Gara, a lot of old growth from these Gara plants. I didn't get around to cleaning it. So I can't work on one thing and see something else that needs to be done. Yeah, so as you can see, there's all the new growth right here. Just come in here, right at the base. Now I feel confident pulling out all the old growth and going all the way down to the base because the plant has since put out a flush of new growth. Now, if there was no new growth, I'd actually leave a few of the old stems just so I know just so I know where the plant is. This one right here may be a goner, because I don't see any new growth whatsoever. See that? No new growth. So unfortunately, this one's gonna have to go. This one we're just gonna have to pull out. So I see a lot of fleshy roots. Look at how deep those, look how long those Gara roots are, guys. Those are pretty long roots and they're fleshy. So I don't know if maybe I was too impatient that this didn't put out any growth yet, but it's a goner. Much better, much better. So you can see all the green. That's Gara, just in case you needed to know. But it's filled with chopped up leaves, and that's fine. I'm gonna let all of these leaves decompose and nurture the soil. In the very front, that grass-like texture, those were all snowdrops. I think it's this might be its first year, so they're just leaves. All right. And directly behind that, you see a few bushels of bulbs, of daffodils. And directly behind that is a Progensi viburnum. Let me see if I can get closer to it. Yeah, so right now it's producing blooms. And in another week or so, you're gonna be all white. It has a really pleasant smell too. Really pleasant smell. All right. So I found a bunch of, mind you guys, it's pretty windy. So, a little spider in here. This is real world, guys, real world. Let that spider do its thing over there. All right, so as many may already know, foxgloves, the roots, the leaves, the flowers, they're all poisonous. I'm not gonna skirt around that claim. It's harmful to animals, it's harmful to your pets, your dogs, your cats, your hamsters, whatever. So I just simply got me some stretch vinyl gloves. I'll double them up just so that the oils and whatnot won't come in contact with my skin. So, all right, so I got the compost. It's just a mix of raised bed mix, compost, black cow manure, potting soil, leaf grow, just a blend. Here's all the clippings from all the Gara. And so there are all the containers. I washed them out thoroughly, just so, you know, I don't want to transfer any diseases for when I pot these things up. And I got some rubber gloves, some kitchen rubber gloves, just in case these flimsy disposable gloves burst on me. All right, let's see exactly what we're working with here. So they're in there pretty tight, obviously. There's a lot of dead growth, but for example, here's an individual plant right here. A lot of plants are lined up along the side of the bed. So I'm not going to worry about cleaning out all of the dead leaves at this time. I'm just going to get a shovel and just dig the whole clump out and then separate it that way. Because they're in there pretty tightly. So I'm going to go as close as I can to the edge. dig down and scoop up. Actually, I'm not sure how deep foxglove roots go, but this thing has formed a considerable network of roots here. Understandably so, almost like a grid. Yeah, that's nice and healthy, right? So let's get in here and kind of separate things. Find where there's some gaps. I should have brought my spade out here. So here's a clump, here's one, and I gotta move quick because it's kind of warm. So I'm gonna put them behind the bed over here. And just work my way through. That fat juicy worm right there. And just tear it apart. And so on and so forth. Nice one. All right, I'm gonna need 2 hands to handle this shovel. This one right here is just a huge mass. I'm gonna try to keep this all together. This is gonna be a powerhouse foxglove. So I'm actually gonna need a bigger pot than what I have.